Welcome to Vista TV Denver. I'm Stephanie Riggs, and today we're with the man of the hour. He hasn't given an interview in a year, but he's going to today.
These are the people who shake up the town of Denver. These are Vista's movers and shakers.
I'm with Mike Shanahan. He's currently the head coach of the Washington Redskins. As you know, he did coach the LA Raiders, and he led the Denver Broncos to 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. I want to welcome you, Mike Shanahan.
Thank you, Steph.
Listen, thanks for those back-to-back Super Bowls. You got all the media out of Denver for a beautiful couple of weeks in Miami and San Diego. We had so much fun.
It was a great time. And, you know, being an assistant coach here for 7 years and having a chance to go to 3 of them, and obviously we came up short, but it was great experiences, and to finally win a couple was special.
Was that the highlight of your career with the Denver Broncos?
Oh, I think it always is. You know, anytime you win your first Super Bowl, that's extra special, and to be able to win back-to-back was a great experience. We're pretty lucky, too. We didn't lose very many people in that stretch. I think one year we lost 13 starters. The other year we lost 15 starters, so we were pretty lucky at the same time.
I actually got interested in football thanks to you. So what about your regrets with the Denver Broncos? Any?
I don't think I've had any. You know, I've been with the Broncos for 21 years, 7 as an assistant, 14 as a head coach, and you know, I always tend to look back on the great experiences we did have, and to be fortunate enough to go to 5 Super Bowls and a few AFC, NFC championship games, and obviously AFC with the Denver Broncos. It was a lot of fun, a lot of great experiences.
You know, when I was driving up to your beautiful home here in Denver, I thought to myself, God laughs while you're making plans. I think you're living proof of that. You had the plan to make Denver your home, and now tomorrow morning you're going to pack up and head to Washington.
Yeah, we'll kind of pack up. You know, I just think of it as a long commute, to be honest with you, because we're going to keep our home here. We got so many friends in Denver. We'll continue to have our home here, and obviously with the restaurant that we have, you know, this will be our home after football's over with. Why
Washington? I'm sure you were going to have a lot of offers. Why'd you pick the Washington Redskins?
You know, it's kind of hard to say. You know, after staying out for a year, it was obviously the job was open. I just thought it was a great challenge in the NFC East, arguably the toughest division in football, and to go against the Cowboys a couple times a year, Philly, Giants. Obviously, it's you know, it's going to be a fun experience.
Look at you. You're getting revved up, aren't you? This is going to be a tough turnaround, isn't it? You like the challenge, though, right?
Yeah, it is going to be a tough one, but one I'm looking forward to.
So, $35 million over 5 years, somebody must think you know how to win a championship.
Well, just remember that every time you see those figures, it doesn't mean it's true. So anyway, that's the rumors. So, but it has to make you feel good. I mean, here you leave the Denver Broncos, and it's been a year, right? Mm-hmm. What'd you do with your bad self for the last year? You know, to be honest with you, you work 80-hour weeks, 100-hour weeks for 35 years in a row, and then all of a sudden you've got some free time. It is a little bit different. But I enjoyed my time off. I really enjoyed football this year. I had a chance to actually sit back and enjoy football games on Sunday, and I'd watch 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and you know, obviously at the same time in the morning you got 4 TVs and get a chance to look at what different people are doing and not have the pressure of going out and performing, you know, over the weekend. So something I enjoyed. Got a chance to spend a lot more time with the family than I've ever done. Got a chance to get out of town a little bit and enjoy myself, but I'm looking forward to getting back to work. Did that freak Peggy out a little bit, having you around so much? Yeah, I think it did. I think it did. You know, coaches' wives become very independent. You're gone so much, and to have me around, I think, put a little pressure on her. Did you meddle at all? No, I didn't. She was gone most of the time, so you know, she had her agenda, and she keeps busy. But so I'm imagining for that year you had a lot of time to reflect about coaching, and will you change up how you coach? Did you think about different strategies, different ways you would do things differently if you got back into it? I think you change a little bit every year. You know, you take a look at your personnel, you take a look at your coaching staff, what you can do, what you can't do. some of the mistakes you made in the past or different things you really believe in. So I think every job is a learning experience, and if you don't learn from it, usually you don't stay in your job.
Are you going to take any of the Broncos or coaches with you?
Well, I can't even talk about that, to be honest with you.
Or you'd have to kill me?
Especially when, no, if you're under contract. I don't want to lose draft choices talking about things you can't talk about, so you're going to get me in trouble
Well,
already.
don't you at least admire me for asking that?
Yeah.
I mean, did you even know that I had that in my little back pocket?
No, I didn't know that.
I'm just kidding. All right, so no offense to you, but it seems like all the press from what I've seen is really, more people are excited about Kyle Shanahan coming on board the Washington Redskins than you.
Yeah, I don't blame him. He had a much better year. In fact, he's had a couple good years back-to-back as the offensive coordinator. Obviously, getting a chance to work for Gary Kubiak, obviously a longtime friend as both a player and as a coach. We were in San Francisco together, obviously Denver together through those Super Bowls. And he's right there on the verge of changing things. And they've been very successful the last couple of years on offense. I think third one year, fourth the other year. And I'm looking forward to having him on our staff.
Now, tell me about the Washington Redskins. Much more high profile, right, than a Denver. You're going to be under a lot more pressure. The heat's going to be really on you.
No, I'll tell you what.
Am I making you nervous, Mike?
No. If you're in the National Football League, it doesn't matter where you're at. There's pressure. You know, you're Denver Broncos head coach, you're the Washington Redskins head coach. There's pressure. People expect you to win, do things the right way, and hopefully you can win a few games and keep your job.
I think I figured out Kyle, though. You know, he wanted to spend time with you. He just figured out how to do it. I have to go and coach because otherwise, you missed out on a lot, though, didn't you, with him because you were so invested. How many years have you been doing this?
Oh, 35.
35 consecutive years of coaching.
Yeah.
So you had to sacrifice a lot with the family.
Yeah, you do, but I think a lot of times that's excuses. You know, when you do have time, you got quality time, and I tried to include him as much as I could when I was coaching. For example, we talked about, 7th, 8th grade, being a ball boy. You know, a chance to be with me for 3, 4, 5 weeks. And when you did have time off, we do things together. Same thing with my daughter. You know, we're still very close. And I mean, she follows football as close as anybody. You know, she can name you the starting lineups probably for every team. But it's, we've got a very close family. And even
now,
though
where is your daughter, Mike?
She lives in Manhattan. She got married 4th of July, and her husband works for Goldman Sachs. And she'll only be about 2.5-hour train ride away.
How's Peggy taking all of this?
Oh, I think she's handling it well. You know, we've been in and out in a lot of homes. We've just been very fortunate to be in Denver for 21 years, and we've just enjoyed the people, enjoyed the community, and that's one of the reasons when football's over with, we'll come back.
So what do you guys do for a fun night out on the town in Denver? You and Peggy?
You know, a lot of times we'll just stay home, or we'll go to a great restaurant or watch a movie. And, when you've been here as long as we have, we feel very comfortable no matter where we go. If we're going Cherry Creek, going downtown, going to the tech center, we enjoy it all. What did you do in this last year that you weren't able to do before because you were so busy? What kind of stuff did you do hanging around? You got used to sleeping a little bit more. You kind of think that you don't need sleep. But when you don't worry about it, when you don't have worries, you find out you can sleep a lot more. I thought I just couldn't sleep, when you're coaching because you're thinking all the time. And all of a sudden, when you do have a little bit of time off, it was quite different. Got a chance to rest, get a little bit better shape, and I enjoyed the time. You do seem so much calmer, more relaxed. And now you're going to get back on the treadmill again, aren't you? You always got to stay on that treadmill as you get older. But, yeah, you do look at things a little differently. And I'm sure this year I'll look at things a little differently than I have over the last 35. Because, you could have kept going. You could have kept sleeping and relaxing and hanging out. You didn't have to do this, I'll do that after I'm done. I think I'll have a lot of time after I'm retired to, take off and spend some time with the grandkids. And in fact, I got a little grandson coming up on Monday. Mike Shanahan is being induced on Monday, and hopefully everything works out. And I got a grandson sometime Monday afternoon. All right, well, we're going to pray for that everything goes well. That's great. So have you lost your mind that you opened a restaurant? Kinda. What were you thinking? Well, to be honest with you, the only way I would really get involved with a restaurant if you got a great a general manager. And you did get the best, didn't you? Yeah, we got the best. When he was at Del Frisco's for all those years, he was, and when he was downtown, he's just great. And, he runs a restaurant like I think I run a football team, and he's the best of the best. And not only him, but Steve Mooney's the other partner. So all three of us are partners in it. And the reason why I think it'll be great is I kind of stay away from it.
And I asked you, did you pick the menu?
No, I ended up picking. Mark did, but he's so good with those type things. Attention to detail, just like you do with football, he does with the restaurant. And one of the owners, Steve Mooney, he's a guy that's very attentive to detail as well, and I think they did a great job with it.
Well, my son really likes the macaroni and cheese. I got to tell you, it was a big hit the other night.
I know, that's what it seems like everybody likes.
What's up with that? So let me ask you something. What's the must-have item on the Shanahan menu?
I'm not really sure.
Like your signature dish.
Well, I think we got a little bit of everything because, the steaks, Mark takes a lot of pride in, all those years. And then, he hired somebody that was an expert in the fish area too. And so, we got a number of different types of fish on the menu. They got chicken, they got lamb. And so it's really a lot more involved with the menu than obviously where Mark was before.
Has Big John Elway been over to Shanahan's?
You know what, I did invite him, but I didn't see him. We had the grand opening a night ago or 2 nights ago, and I was hoping John would be there, and hopefully he wasn't telling me something.
No, I don't think so. But you've gone to Elway's, right?
Yeah, many times.
This is a hard-hitting question. I hope you're ready for it. Who do you think serves the better filet?
Oh, I tell you what, he's got a great restaurant too. He's got a great restaurant and different sides of town, and I'll let the people compare, but he's got a great restaurant as well.
One word that sums up you personally and professionally.
Oh, that's pretty hard, one word. I'd say competitive.
And personally, you're competitive?
Oh, I think if you're competitive, you're kind of competitive in all different ways, but professionally, probably competitive. Personally, I don't know. That's for someone else to figure out, I guess.
Domestic or imported beer?
Domestic.
One piece of advice you want to pass along?
Oh, I think my favorite phrase that I've heard is tough times never last, tough people do.
What do you hope people will say about you when you're long gone?
Oh, it was a fun run.
Oh, if you decided you didn't want to be a coach, what would you do professionally?
I always wanted to be a coach. Even when I was young, I said if I didn't coach, what I'd like to do is probably be in real estate, be in some type of business. But, I was so driven with football, I never really got a chance to really sit back and really seriously think about something else.
Oh, I could eat blank every single day of the week.
I like steak a lot, so I'll say steak.
Steak. And how do you have your steak?
A medium. Yeah, pretty simple.
By the way, delicious steak at Shanahan's?
Yeah, they do a great job.
So, Mike, why is it that you haven't wanted to really give any interviews for a year?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think it's right. I've been in Denver for a long time, 14 years, and 7 as an assistant, 21 years. And, anytime, you get fired and you've been in a place so long and a head coach comes in, you just don't want to take away from what that guy wants to do. And, Josh is a young coach that has, big-time potential. I think he's got a great future ahead of him. And I thought it would be a little bit better to stay in the background.
Mm-hmm. And what do you want to say to the fans and all the people who are big supporters of yours?
Well, we've had such a great run with fundraisers, people supporting all the different charities through the years, people giving back to the community, and I'd like to thank them for all the fundraisers we've been involved with in so many different areas. I thank them for supporting the community. We've got so many friends here. Being here for 21 years, we came here in 1984, and this is our home. So even though we're taking off for a short time, we'll be back here, and I hope to see all those people here in the near future. Not too near, though.